My name is Ramesh. I'm here to talk to you about the W-audio PSR15a active loudspeakers. I bought these things about 5 or 6 months ago, and since then I've been trying them at house parties, discos, gigs, stuff like that. And I'm here to report back to you essentially on how well they've been doing, how good they sound, how well they're made, and also just what they're like to live with generally. So as you can see, first of all, it's quite a big speaker. I'm nearly 6 foot, thereabouts, I like to think. But it's pretty big compared to me. It's got a 15-inch bass driver with a 3-inch magnet, 1.75-inch titanium voice coil, and it does have its pros and cons. I mean, first of all, it's built superbly. It's got a really sturdy metal grille. This is not cheap. It's very well built metal grille, and the actual structure of the rest of it is very solid plastic. So you can hurl these things around. Scratch them, bruise them, they will not break. They're very well built. However, on the downside of that, all those materials do add up in weight. These things are pretty difficult to move around. They're on the best side of 30 kilograms each, and you need to be pretty strong to move them around yourself. You know, especially if you're a mobile DJ, that's something to factor into account. They're quite difficult to move around, you know, if you're moving them long ways. But apart from that, you know, but the build quality is very good, and the sound quality is just superb. They go very loud, pretty much to 128 decibels of sound pressure. The bass response, as you'd expect from a 15-inch bass driver, is superb, and you get very high, crystal clear sounds from the high frequency driver. Now, one thing I would say that not very many people sort of know is when you turn these things on, they hiss quite a bit, and I was quite concerned when I first got this. The high frequency hisses a lot, but that's nothing to be concerned with in a party, because the volume of music is very loud, and you're not going to hear the hiss at all. It's just literally when you turn them on in a very quiet room, you can hear the high frequency hissing more than some speakers. But you know, for a budget speaker, that's just what you'd expect. So now we're going to have a look around the back. Okay, so here we are on the back. And the first thing jumps out at you is this massive metal heatsink here. Now this is an old school amplifier. It's 400 watts RMS, class AB, which is, you know, unlike the newer class D models, where you don't get this massive heatsink. And the reason for this heatsink being here is due to the class of the amplifier AB. It does get pretty hot when you're using them excessively. I've been at several gigs when you could pretty much fry an egg on this heatsink. But saying that, that's a good sign because it means it's keeping the amplifier inside cool, and this speaker in 6 months of use has never ever thermaled on me. So very good amplifier. As I said, 400 watts RMS, 800 watts peak. The way that's broken down is 350 watts for the bass, 50 watts for the high frequency, and this speaker's bi-amped, which you don't get on some of the really cheap stuff. That's important because you've got a separate amplifier driving the two speakers. That means you can tailor the amplifier for the needs of the specific speaker, and also it means that if you get distortion, let's say the bass, you won't get any distortion at all in the high frequency because it's a separate amplifier entirely. So overall, very good high quality amplifier. Gets a bit toasty at times, but you know, that's not really a massive problem. So now we're going to have a look at the buttons and knobs down here. Okay, so as you can see on the back here, there's pretty much a mini mixer. It's very well equipped for a speaker. You've got your standard XLR input here, line input, with its own volume control. You've got 2 separate jack inputs with their own respective controls. You've got a master volume control, an XLR out, but if you want to daisy chain it to another speaker. You've got a bass control, which in my case spends most of its time about here, and a treble control. Now, as you can see, there are 3 LEDs here, the bottom of which says active. That basically means that when you turn the speaker on from this switch here, that means that basically it just shows you that power is present in the speaker. That will just stay constantly on blue. And the two LEDs up here show bass clipping and treble clipping. If they flash, it means the respective amplifier is clipping, basically. But as I said, I've used these things for 6 months now. I do run them at very high sound pressure levels. For example, I run XLR out of my mixer into here. This spends all of its time at full volume. I put that about there, and as I said, with a bit of a bass boost as well, which I know I shouldn't. and running it at that sort of volume for pretty much 4 hours constantly, I've never seen those clipping things light up at me at all. So overall, very, very well made. The amplifier is very good, and it's a very sturdy design. I would say for anyone really looking to buy a speaker in the, should we say, budget category, these things are very good. I mean, I bought 2 of these for £600. When you look at QSCs and JBLs that can cost you pretty much over £2,000, these are very, very good.